Hello, sports fans. I am Brittany Maclean, joined today by an exciting guest in person, which we love. I'm here with Ainka Jess, who's the CEO and founder of She's for Sports. Now, Ainka, I love always hearing right from the source. Your organization is doing incredible things. So why don't you tell us more about what She's for Sports is and why you started it?
I started She's for Sports in 2016, and at the time, you could imagine the landscape looked very different in terms of visibility that we're seeing with women in sport. It's specifically amplifying the voices of Canadian women in sport. And it all came about because I had conversations with other women who were sports fans, women who I knew were working in sports, and just wanting to ask them and talk to them about their engagement with sport, how they felt about going to sporting games or matches. And they would just say, I went to a hockey game and a guy was sitting beside me and he was mansplaining the game. Or I had friends who were like, I went to the bar, I asked them to change it to put on the Raptors game, and the bartender didn't show up. He didn't want to change the channel. And also just hearing from my colleagues that they didn't see stories about women that looked like myself or them and other women, at different levels of sport being amplified. So I just figured maybe I could do something about it. And now we're 9 years in, and essentially what we do is we develop digital content, we produce events, we work with other organizations around gender and equity in terms of producing initiatives, marketing initiatives for them, and it's been great so far.
Well, you said it best. Women's sports really are exploding right now.
Yes.
We got the WNBA Toronto announcement. The NSL is about to start, PWHL, and Unrivaled. I know you got to check out one of those events.
Yes.
So what is the biggest change you have noticed personally over the last few years?
Just definitely the access to these women, whether it's having the WNBA League Pass, I have that, and being able to watch the games, whether it's able to go to a game. I actually went to an Indiana Fever game last year. I saw Caitlin Clark, and they were also playing, the Indiana Fever playing the Chicago Sky. I chose that game specifically so I could see Angel Reese and Caitlin. I think it's the access. I can watch it. I can get on a plane and go see the game. I can, do anything online and social media, whether it's gamification or a contest. There's the access to these players and seeing their lives and their journeys in the W or any sport, professional sport they're in. We just have a lot of access now with social media as well.
Oh my gosh, and that's some of my favorite follows are just like seeing how they live their life. How are they branding themselves? How are they continuing to grow their own sports, which is amazing, and we'll get there. First, though, you have an event coming up March 27th from runway to game day. Pitch it to us. What's happening? Why should people attend? And maybe, what are the key taglines of the purpose of the event?
I always like to start off by saying sports and fashion have entered the chat.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot, you can go on your phone and you'll just see the tunnel walks, you'll see the fits, you'll see athletes in brand partnerships and, advocating and wearing clothes of a brand. The WNBA, we saw at the draft in 2024. I'm like, what year are we in? In 2024, Caitlin Clark was outfitted by Prada. You're seeing high-end fashion houses wanting to dress these players. So it's just, it's exciting, and that's what we're going to be talking about. We're also going to be looking at the data. Last season, the WNBA saw their merch go up by 601%. Like, that number is just, you can't even, you're trying to quantify that. And you are noticing when you go to these games, I go to these games, by the time I go to the merch shop, the jerseys, the t-shirts, everything's flying off the shelf. So that's what we're going to be talking about, those type of trends. We're also going to have folks like Lisa Dieppe talking about the sports merchandise and licensing apparel world. She's the co-founder of the Peace Collective. I'm wearing the Tempo shirt that's from the Peace Collective. So love to jump into that conversation with her as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned Peace Collective. I actually just bought my first, actually it was a birthday gift. I put it on my list, but it was the Scepter's crew neck. It was also from Peace Collective. And I think that's one of the things we can tangibly do, right? Like, it's one thing to support the team or go to a game once, but like, you can walk around Toronto with that shirt and people notice and people are watching, which is awesome. And it continues to grow, right? I now see that and I'm like, I need one of those shirts.
I don't go around flashing too much, but I know I went out somewhere one day and a girl tapped me on the shirt. I had one, Everyone Watches Women's Sports, which is another shirt that's definitely gone viral. And lots of people are wearing it. And she's like, what does it say? And I was like, at a conference, I'm like, well, I guess I could just go like that, but I don't really walk around the city doing that too much, but I am glad that there's eyes on these products and people are buying them.
And what do you think is causing that shift in attention when it comes to that fashion and sport connection?
Fans want to feel a connection to their athletes and the teams, and we want that connection to go past just bums in seats sitting at the game or watching it. We want to just feel like we are friends with them, we're connected to them. So if they're influencing us by their clothes, we're definitely going to be taking that in and going, well, maybe that shirt might match with my jeans at home, and we respect their opinions.
And I mean, you said the word influence a few times. I think that's really important, especially when we talk about platforms like digital and social media. You know, how have you seen the brands, I guess, deal with that? Is there more endorsement deals, or are you seeing more athletes and partnerships evolve throughout this time?
Yeah, I think the best example right now is the Met Gala. That's coming up in May. And Anna Wintour, if anyone doesn't know who that is, I'm sure you do, very well known for running Vogue. But she's also, I don't know if she's the president of the Met Gala, but she's got a pretty prominent position with the Met Gala. And this theme this year is pretty much bringing on athletes to sit as co-chairs and hosts. And LeBron James, Lewis Hamilton, they're on the chairs. They're one of many chairs. But I also was looking last night and I saw that Angel Reese, Sha'Carri Richardson, who's a track and field athlete, they're also going to be hosts on the host committee of the Met Gala. So you're definitely seeing this influence at a high level when it comes to working with athletes, getting their opinions, getting their influence at that level of the Met Gala to me. And even this week, there's fashion shows going on, fashion weeks all over, Europe. So you're starting to see more on social media. Oh, these athletes are showing up. Oh, they're walking in the runway. So definitely their opinions are mattering, and also the influences there.
Yeah, well, you speak about track and field too. I remember watching the sprinters, and you see the red lip on some of them, or there's they put on their new wig because that makes them feel most confident.
Or nails.
The nails.
Yes.
Okay, so that in my sport specifically, it was always about getting your nails done.
Yeah.
And it made so many people used to wonder what it was about, and a lot of people, the answer truly was, I want to feel like I'm at my best. And for me, that final kind of tune in was I got my nails done. And I joke because I was in a sport of inches. So literally when people were touching the wall, it was maybe
that gave
I
you
have
a little bit of advantage.
Extra. I could never do the long nails.
Yeah.
But do you ever think in this conversation, is it ever become a distraction to the actual field of what's going on in the field of play?
I don't think it does. I think I'll tie it back to why I started Cheese for Sports, was to change the narrative. When we only see one group of people being focused on the media, we don't hear other stories of people. We don't get a sense that women are not a monolith, right? Some women, as you said, want the nails. Some don't wear nails, but they're really wearing a lot of hats and boots or baggy pants. And some people want to wear a skirt and a tie with the skirt. I think we definitely can change the narrative that women athletes are humans and they have different likes and preferences. And I think that definitely will speak also to the next generation, younger girls who are looking up at them, that you can be your authentic self and still like sport and still excel at sport.
Oh my gosh. I will tell you, being in some of the arenas for women's sporting events has been the safest place I've ever felt. And I think there's something so beautiful about that. You see a little bit of everyone from a little bit of everywhere coming to watch an amazing sporting event take place. And the support and the energy is just I always say, if you haven't been to, whether it's PWHL, the NSL is coming up, WNBA Toronto, there's so much to cheer for, which is awesome. I do want to ask you, do you have a dream fashion collab, whether it's a brand and an athlete or something you think would be really cool if it came together?
I'm liking the trend that I'm seeing with designers and artists making custom pieces and using different types of art, upcycling, and then, recreating a fashion sort of collection. And we do have someone coming to our event named Jocelyn Hugh. She's going to be doing a workshop with the Give and Grow. They're going to be using scraps of fabric to recreate and make a vision board. But if you do go on her website and you do follow Jocelyn, she's all about mixing art and fashion together. She's made custom pieces for Spike Lee and Angel Reese. So I like that trend. I like that.
Okay, well, my next question was going to be, what's the upcoming trend you're most excited about? But you kind of answered it already. Looking forward, though, what is kind of that next chapter that gives you hope and gives you something to look forward to?
Just being authentic, as I said, if it's, connecting with brands that may not have such a big name, but they're local, or connecting with local artists, local brands, giving them some shine. I think what I like that I'm seeing is Skylar Diggins. She's a WNBA player, but she's playing with Unrivaled. She was doing the tunnel walk, and then she's like, this is from a Black designer name. I think his name is Romeo Hunt, and no one, some people might have known the name, some people might not have. So it's giving an opportunity for local artists and people who maybe not getting a lot of shine to kind of see their pieces out there, to have someone like Skylar, advocating on their behalf and showing their fashions.
Yeah, it's almost like a way for these athletes to expand their own and show off what they are and who they are, but also give a little bit of an extra nod to something they've discovered, and then another amazing local business that you can put a whole different audience towards, which is really cool. Okay, well, we have a big event coming up. You've said it, the 27th of March. If you're in the GTA, make sure you are, I'm going to look in camera, make sure you are looking at tickets. There is still some for sale. We've confirmed that, okay? So that is from Runway to Game Day on March 27th. Tickets are found online. You can follow Ainka as well. There's tons of amazing things you're doing with She's for Sport. And thank you so much today for just chatting a little bit more about it with us.
Yeah, this was fun. Thanks a lot for having me.